snap. There's the kick. It's gone. Oh my gosh. The kick is gone.
B.S.N Sports Nerd present Joe's Fantasy Field Goal.
What's up? We have fantasy football talk again with Joe's Fantasy Field Goal back for week 12. We're going to do a short, quick one this week, guys. I'm not gonna do a start sit. Really, I do it every week, but I mean at this point, week 12 in the season, you guys should know who you should play and who you shouldn't play. And there are other like player rankings and stuff like that, and you guys can make educated guesses based on the information I've told you throughout the season. Whether you think you should play someone and what matchups to play and stuff like that. So, I will probably be back to doing it next week. Just I got a lot going on this week, so I'm gonna skip the start set for this week, and we're just gonna do QB and defensive streamers and some waiver wire wonders, and then that's it for this week. So, let's get right into the QB streamers.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong?
Alright, so first on the list for QB streamers this week is Case Keenum at Detroit. I mean, this game's on Thanksgiving, which is kind of cool. I kind of like having at least a couple players in the early game, a couple players in the Monday night game. That way you're never truly out of it, and you know how you're doing early. You know what I mean? You can get a feel for what the week is going to be like if you have some guys who do really well in the early game. It also can ruin your fantasy week if you have, let's say like 3 or 4 guys in the early game and they all kind of suck. So I mean, that's always shitty, but. First one is Case Keenum at Detroit. This is on Thanksgiving. Detroit always plays on Thanksgiving. Case Keenum has looked pretty damn good this year. Detroit's defense is alright. And Case Keenum has got his full complement of weapons back. Their defense is good. They are on the road, but I'm not that worried about it. But he's got Stefon Diggs. Adam Thielen looks like a true number one receiver almost. So I like Case Keenum this week with all his weapons. They have a good defense, good running game. So they should be able to manage this game well. I think Case Keenum will be a fine stream. Next on the list we have Andy Dalton versus Cleveland. This is self-explanatory. He is playing Cleveland. So Andy Dalton seems to have fixed a lot of the problems he was having in the start of the year. He's been playing pretty well recently, and they go up against a really soft Cleveland defense that, who I actually really like in this game too is Tyler Kroft. If he's available, I would play him. Cleveland is the worst in the NFL against the tight end, and Tyler Kroft is going to be a good stream. So I think Andy Dalton has, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's what I'm expecting out of him. And I would expect Tyler Kroft to catch one of those touchdowns. Next on the list, we have Jacoby Brissett. They're playing Tennessee. Tennessee's defense, obviously, very, very bad. Jacoby Brissett has looked pretty fucking good in his fill-in role there in Indy. And they are home against Tennessee, so I like that. In the dome there in Indy, it's a good matchup for him. And they're gonna have a little QB controversy over there in Indianapolis. It's gonna be interesting to see how that shakes out at the end of the year. I mean, is it really a QB controversy? One's Andrew Luck, but I don't know. Jacoby Brissett has definitely played his way onto a team, in my opinion. So we'll have to see what they do. But I do like Jacoby Brissett this week. He's definitely a streamable option against a very soft Tennessee defense. And last on the list is Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Atlanta. Atlanta's defense has kind of come on lately, but I think you can get an okay game out of Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Atlanta defense that still gives up points. You know what I mean? It's as while they're coming on, it's still the Atlanta defense. They're still giving up passing yards. They're still giving up points, and I think you can get a good game out of him. Probably again like a 250 and 2, but you might have a pick in there, but it's probably good for about 15 points, which is typical of a streaming quarterback option. So I like Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Atlanta. For the defensive streamers, Jacksonville is taking on Arizona. Arizona has Blaine Gabbert at quarterback. Obviously, that is a plus matchup for Jacksonville if they are available, which they are probably not, but if they are available, I do like them this week. They should just feast on that Arizona quarterback situation. Next, we have Pitt versus Green Bay. Pitt, again, number 1 passing defense or top 3 passing defense. I don't know if they've changed since, over the past couple weeks or whatever, but they are a top 3 or 5 passing defense. They're playing Green Bay with a backup quarterback who has looked okay at best. So I like Pitt this week. They should be a very, very safe play. Kansas City's playing Buffalo. I really, really, really like this pick if Peterman is playing quarterback again. Obviously, you can't go out there and throw 5 picks and not expect me to play my defense against you the next week if that's going to be the case. So Kansas City's probably very high on this list if it is true that Peterman will be the quarterback for the next Buffalo Bills game. And last but not least, we have Cincinnati versus Cleveland. Again, this is self-explanatory. You play the team. You play the defense that plays Cleveland. You play the quarterback that plays Cleveland. You play the tight end that plays Cleveland. You play anyone involved in playing Cleveland because the Browns are a sad sack of shit, and you should take advantage of that in fantasy football. So Jacksonville, Pitt, Kansas City, and Cincinnati are my defenses this week. I also think that Patriots are a safe play, and they're probably more available versus Miami. Miami's offense is just meh, and Patriots defense has kind of come on lately, so I do like the Patriots defense too. So let's move right into waiver wire wonders now, and I'll give you some guys to check out on the waiver wire.
And I wonder if you know the wonder of it all.
Alright guys, so for waiver wire wonders this week, we are going to start off with Kenny Stills. This is a great pickup if, and it's kind of a big if Matt Moore is playing quarterback. Matt Moore loves Kenny Stills like a brother, like his firstborn. He always targets Kenny Stills before anyone else. And Kenny Stills always seems to have really good games when Matt Moore is quarterback. So if Matt Moore seems to be getting a lot more reps at quarterback for the Dolphins, then Kenny Stills is worth owning and worth owning everywhere. So I really like Kenny Stills, but it's pretty much with the caveat that Matt Moore is still the quarterback in Miami and not back to Jay Cutler. And to be honest with you, I still think Matt Moore should be the quarterback in Miami. In my opinion, he's better. But, what do I know? I'm not an NFL coach, but I do think he's the better quarterback option in Miami and not Jay Cutler. Next, we have Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine had a great game. He's going to be heavily targeted on your waiver wire. And Rob Kelly is pretty much done for the year. So, and Chris Thompson just got hurt, I think maybe for the rest of the year. So Samaje Perine he pretty much has his role locked down here. as the starting running back for the Redskins. So I really like Samaje P. Ryan. Spend whatever you need to in Fab to get him. He's a locked and loaded running back one, or he is the running back, the starting running back for the Redskins for the rest of the year. He might not be a running back one, but he has a locked and loaded starter's role for the rest of the year, and it's hard to come by this late in the season. So Samaje P. Ryan, love. He's under 50% owned, and should be owned everywhere. Next we have Tariq Cohen. I think it is safe to re-add Tariq Cohen to your roster if you had dropped him, or if you haven't been using him, or if someone else has dropped him. His usage is starting to tick up. He is a rookie, so I think they're trying to see what they have in him, and I think it's safe to re-add him to your roster. If he's going to be used, he is talented, and he will score. He will score some points for your fantasy team. So I do like re-adding Tariq Cohen back to your lineup. Next we have Bruce Ellington. Bruce Ellington is interesting because the offense is actually not that good, but Tom Savage he's competent. He can get the ball in the air towards a person. He tends to throw to Nuke Hopkins a lot, but sorry. But with Will Fuller on injury and Braxton Miller on injury, Bruce Ellington has really taken control of the second receiver role there, and he's averaging 8 targets the last 3 weeks. I think he's safe even if one of them comes back, because he's just a safer. He's not a deep threat like Will Fuller is. He's more of a short yardage guy, and I think that Tom Savage will lean on him. So I like Bruce Ellington for now as an ad. 8 targets, an average of 8 targets is something you want on your team, because if you're getting targeted, it's more opportunities, especially for a receiver, to control the ball. So that's what you're really looking for there. An average of 8 targets for Bruce Ellington is really good. And last but not least is Corey Coleman. Corey Coleman is back from injury. He's only played 2 games this year. Last week and the first week of the year, and he went out early in the second week of the season, so I'm not counting that. But in the 2 games that he's played, he's averaging 5 receptions for 65 yards and 0.5 touchdowns. He had 1 touchdown in the first game. He didn't have any touchdowns in the second game. But obviously, he is the best Browns receiver to have. He's made an impact both times. He's been healthy, and I'm targeting him as much as I can, especially if I need wide receiver help, because I think he has the most upside out of any Browns receiver, where you could potentially get a receiver, like a wide receiver 1 rest of season, if Corey Coleman catches on, and if the Browns offense can start running through him, you could end up with a wide receiver 1. I don't think that's probably unlikely, but it's possible. But I do like Corey Coleman for the rest of the year. And like I said, this week, guys, that's going to be it. It's just a nice short Joe's Fantasy Field Goal, some waiver wire pickups, some quarterback and defensive streams. Let's just peek at the matchups. I won't go as in depth as I normally do.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance. I know there's a lot riding on it, but it's all psychological. Just got to stay in a positive frame of mind.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains? Yeah, if Coach would have put me in 4th quarter, we'd have been state champions, no doubt.
But let's see, like the Vikings are playing the Lions, so the Vikings defense is good. Probably stay away from most of the Lions, but I do think Vikings are worth starting. The Cowboys are playing the Chargers. I think that game is safe to play. Anyone in that game, really. The Giants are playing the Redskins. Again, that's probably safe for both offenses to play. Anyone you have on both offenses. The Browns at the Bengals. Obviously, you're playing all your Browns. For the I mean, obviously you're playing all your Bengals. For the Browns, probably just Duke Johnson and Corey Coleman. Panthers at the Jets. Obviously, you're playing all your Panthers. For the Jets, you're probably playing a running back, whichever one's healthy. And and Austin Sferrin-Jenkins. That's all I would play. Titans, Colts. That's safe to play anyone on either side of the ball. Both defenses are bad, so offensive points should be put up. Buccaneers, Falcons. Again, neither defense is insane, so both offenses are worth playing. Anyone on either offense. Dolphin, Patriots. I would play all the Patriots. For the Dolphins, I'd probably play my Dolphins too. The Pats defense has looked better, but they're still giving up a lot of yards, which is fine for fantasy football. Not as many points, but still a lot of yards. So it's fine for fantasy football. So either team, Dolphins and Patriots. Bears, Eagles. Bears, there's not really anyone worth playing on that team except for Jordan Howard. And maybe Tariq Cohen. For the Eagles, you're playing pretty much everyone. Bills at the Chiefs. I'm playing, the typical 4 Chiefs that you always play. For the Bills, if Peterman's quarterback, I don't think I'm ready to play anyone except LaShawn McCoy. If Tyrod's quarterback, I'd play LaShawn McCoy and Charles Clay probably. That would be the only 2 out of the Bills. Seahawks at the 49ers. I'll probably stay away from most 49ers except for maybe Carlos Hyde. I'm not playing a quarterback or wide receiver there. For the Seahawks, you play Doug Baldwin. I'm playing any Seahawks I have. Broncos at the Raiders. Broncos have not looked great on defense, so I'll probably find playing Raiders. Although the Raiders do struggle against the Broncos. This is at home, and it's not the same Broncos D. I still would probably feel fine playing my Raiders. And for the Broncos, you're playing Demaryius Thomas, you're playing Emmanuel Sanders, you are playing C.J. Anderson, and then you're probably stopping. Saints at the Rams. This is a great matchup for both offenses. I'm probably playing anyone involved in that game. Jaguars at Cardinals. I'm probably only playing Larry Fitzgerald for the Cardinals, and that's not a good matchup at all. For the Jags, I'm playing Fournette and Marquise Lee. That's probably it. That's not a great matchup for fantasy, Jaguars at Cardinals. Next we have Packers at the Steelers. I'm probably laying off all the Packers except for maybe Jamal Williams. Devontae Adams just had a big game, so maybe I play him too. Steelers pass defense is good though. For the Steelers, I'm playing all the Steelers that are worth playing. Texans at the Ravens for the last game. I'm playing Nuke Hopkins. I'm definitely playing Lamar Miller now since Dante Foreman hurt his leg. I think they still have Alfred Blue, but I'm definitely still playing Lamar Miller. I'm definitely playing Nuke Hopkins. I'd probably flex Bruce Ellington. For the Ravens, I'm never going to tell you to stream Joe Flacco because he always fails. But I'd probably be okay playing Macklin, Woodhead, and Alex Collins. And that was the quickest rundown of games I've ever done. So that's it, guys. A nice short, I think sub 20 minute Joe's Fantasy Field Goal. Go listen to WECP. It just came out this Sunday. Go listen to A Box Seat Boys coming out, I think, this Tuesday. This Wednesday. Jeez, I'm all fucked up. Yeah. Go listen to The Box Seat Boys coming out tomorrow. We got the B.S. Nerds podcast that's coming out Friday. And I think it's a Dave Speaks week, as well as a 4-star sports bar. So to get all that great content, rate, review, subscribe to BSN Network on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating, and I'll catch you guys next week.